Inflation relief checks, or you can also call it stimulus checks for millions of Americans, are finally coming. Look at this. Surprise $400 checks rolling out to millions of Americans. No zip code needed to cash in. Remember, these checks are going to be very important for millions of those Americans who are struggling right now in this worst inflation. Though $400 is not enough, but remember, something is better than nothing. Where these checks are coming, how you can get them, I'm gonna give you each and every detail, but all I need is just a little favor. It takes 2 seconds to please smash the like button on this video. So without any further ado, let's start the video. So let's start the video with inflation relief checks, or stimulus checks for millions of Americans. As you all know that right now millions of Americans are struggling right now and they need some sort of support as soon as possible. Right now around 18 million Americans are homeless, and this is not it. At the same time, around 5 million seniors receive below poverty level checks from Social Security. Yes, we live in a nation which gives billions and billions of dollars to other countries, but our own seniors and low-income Americans are struggling. But in the midst of everything, President Donald J. Trump said this.
Japan, a very rich and prosperous and profitable and wonderful country, frankly, and we will pay a zero tariff as we do business in Japan. So we're paying zero, they're paying 15, we're getting $550 billion, and to be exact, it's 90% of that, but we control the whole lot of it.
So President Donald J. Trump said just from one country, in the name of tariffs, we are going to receive $550 billion. Well, at the same time, around $15 trillion worth of investment is coming in United States, according to President Donald J. Trump. And you know how much money this administration needs to eliminate poverty, homelessness, and hunger in US? Then look at this. So according to the Department of Housing and Urban Development, it would cost $20 billion to end homelessness in US. Well, this is quite shocking. Just $20 billion. And right now we give billions and billions of dollars, somewhat around $200 to $500 billion to other countries so they can survive and thrive. We cannot end homelessness in US with just $20 billion. We all know that President Donald J. Trump signed an executive order recently that will allow federal authorities to remove homeless people from the streets and put them in rehabilitation centers. But we need to understand one thing, that if you are saying that you're just from one country, you're receiving $550 billion in investment, so $20 billion is nothing to spend on American people, because the money that this administration is receiving belongs to American people. Let me know in the comments below what do you think about this, because this was a thought that I wanted to share with you. But at the same time, let's go towards this very important update, and we are talking about inflation relief checks, or stimulus checks to millions and millions of Americans. Well, $400 checks for New Yorkers are finally on the way. You don't need to apply, share your zip code, or fill out any forms. Well, thanks to new inflation relief plan from Governor Kathy Hochul, over 8 million New York households would get a surprise check automatically if you filed a 2023 New York tax return and meet the income limits. Your payment is coming by mail or direct deposit starting this October. With no red tape, these payments aim to help families beat rising costs. Now you must be thinking that why Kathy Hochul, especially New York, is giving these $400 checks to around 8 million New Yorkers. Well, you need to understand that New York is in surplus budget, and that's why they need to get rid of that money, and they're giving this money to American people and especially to New Yorkers. But right here, this whole controversy starts. Well, President Donald J. Trump said that he's receiving around $15 trillion in investment from various countries in United States. And now, as I showed you earlier, to end homelessness in US, he needs only $20 billion. And to end hunger in US, they need only $26 billion. And we are talking about universal SNAP food stamp benefits for all low-income Americans who make $40,000 and less. Now, if President Donald J. Trump continue with this plan, it will change a number of things for Americans. We all need to understand if New York can give these $400 checks to 8 million New Yorkers, why can't this administration give a one-time stimulus checks to millions and millions of Americans? And we know that the federal government is way richer than the states itself. So if they want to give this money, just a little bit of it from that $15 trillion investment, according to President Donald J. Trump, as he said that we are receiving $15 trillion, they can eliminate everything. And we are talking about homelessness, we are talking about hunger, we are talking about mental illness, we are talking about cure of many diseases, we are talking about depression, we are talking about paying higher prices for prescriptions, we are talking about paying for grocery, we are talking about paying for utilities, paying for rent, paying for mortgage. Americans will be able to afford everything and they will live with dignity and financial freedom. That's what a number of analysts and experts think. And right here, I would like to ask you, what do you think about this? Do you think that President Donald J. Trump should give another stimulus checks to Americans, especially according to the recent report from Gallup? The prices of groceries are up by 21%. And according to another report, just in June alone, the inflation went up to 2.7%. Though in the last year, in the whole last year, by the way, the inflation was 2.5% only. And in the month of June 2025, the inflation went up to 2.7%, and we are talking about just in 1 month. So do you think that President Donald J. Trump should immediately come up with a stimulus package for Americans? As a number of analysts and experts and lawmakers are saying, we are on the brink of another inflation because of the tariffs, and that's why America needs some sort of support in advance before the inflation hits the American economy. And we need to understand the people who need some sort of support as soon as possible are low-income Americans, seniors, children, and disabled Americans who are struggling right now in this worst inflation. One thing that we would like to tell you right here, that congratulations to New Yorkers who are receiving $400 check, but this leads us to this very important question. If one state can do it, why can't this administration or federal administration do it for all Americans, though they know that millions and millions of Americans are struggling? As I mentioned earlier, that even in 2025, 5 million seniors receive below poverty level checks from Social Security. They're unable to put 3 meals a day for themselves and their loved ones. I'll see you in the next video very soon. Till then, please take care and have a nice day.